while we commonly think of county prosecutors as important figures in our county, they literally work in an office at a county, much like judges do. But they're not officers of the county. They don't do the county's business. They aren't subject to the county's rule. The county can't pass laws, for example, that say we can overrule prosecutorial discretion. The county council could dismiss a case out from under the prosecutor by a majority vote. That's not a power given to the county because prosecuting cases on behalf of the state is a state function. It's not a county function. And so going back through our history and through the laws that our legislature's chosen to pass, we see that the prosecuting attorneys are a state government official in this context, in terms of choosing who gets to represent the state. Whether this reaches all to every context, who knows, right? So it's certainly complicated in terms of other provisions that talk about salaries for county officials. There are other cases where that's mostly an issue that this doesn't necessarily have to reach because, like judges, prosecutors have many functions that are overseen by the county. So there are staff that the prosecutor will need to hire. They'll need a building to work in, that kind of thing. They need money to continue living their lives, a salary. So there are issues in which the county probably does have control because those aren't traditional functions of state government. Housing a county prosecuting attorney's office and coming up with that kind of budget and providing for assistance. The state is not asserting broad scope control over every function. What we are asserting is that the functions that have traditionally been state power remain state power because the legislature did not choose to yield them to the county.
But the reason it's important is because all the case law we're talking about, like who's a county officer, who isn't a county officer, who's a state officer, looks at the history and how things have been regarded over time. It matters. The Gamble case, and I agree that the two important cases are Gamble and Kirkpatrick. Gamble dealt with a sheriff and whether the county could establish a police department. And it held that was within the county's power, not other people's power, to appoint them. Judges, on the other hand, which have been the comparator, are very different. Your Honor has constitutional authority to issue justice and decisions in other counties of the state. You're a state officer by definition. The prosecuting attorney's power is limited to the St. Louis County, Missouri. And what case law has said throughout history is that when we talk about who's a state officer versus a county officer, we look to whether or not their power is coextensive with the boundaries of the county or the state itself. And when it's the state, they're a state officer. When it's the county, they're generally a county officer. And that's the way the case laws regard this.
I have immense respect for Dr. Page and Governor Parson, and both, I don't know if you call them nominees or whatever their title are, both really good people. This has nothing to do with the personalities. This is about the law, and I thought you both did, all three of you, but the two of you in particular did a great job of discussing the issues of law, and that's what this case is about, the law, okay?